seat. Thank you so much for coming. It's really great to see everybody. What we're going to do, since everybody is just social distancing so well and we're outside, we're going to say let's feel free to take our masks off, okay? If you'd like to do that, yeah. Okay. Now we know where everybody stands, right? So we're outdoors. You know, obviously, if we just maintain that distance, that's great. If you have to get up and move around for any reason, just put your mask back on again. You know, just to be on the safe side. And a couple of quick announcements. Firstly, we do have bathrooms available over in the barn, so just go in there. We've got hand sanitizer and sanitizing wipes and that in the bathroom, so just wipe handles down after yourselves and sanitize your hands. That would be great, but please feel free to use the bathrooms. And then we're going to start with a song. We're just going to say, let's not sing though, okay, for other safety reasons. So we're just going to listen to our friends sing to us. And one last thing I thought, you know, after 6 months of not being together, there's something really touching about the fact that we're still starting 10 minutes late, don't you think? I mean, that's just, we're still Cedar Ridge, obviously, right? So thank you again. We're going to share lots of things with you this morning, but thank you so much for being here. Let's listen to this song.
Hello, everybody. You guys are so far away from me and from each other, but we're going to do something interactive right now. I had a bunch of ideas on something we could do to, celebrate that we're together, back on this property, in the moment, live. Anybody want to play freeze tag? No masks? I'm joking. It's not a good joke. I'm sorry. I saw one hand raised, though. I'm glad that you want to play freeze tag. We're going to do something interactive, but still socially distanced and safe. And yes, I'm going to ask you to go to your tech device. This will be a game that we do on your phones. If you have a phone with you, go ahead and pull that out. I'm going to give you some directions. If you didn't bring a phone, I'm pretty impressed. But maybe if you're in a group of people with one or two, play along with each other. All right, so go ahead and take your phones out and open on your browser, whatever browser you want, the website kahoot.it, not .com. So kahoot.it. And I'll be right back with more. So I do have a code, but I want to make sure everybody's going to be able to start at about the same time. We have a short quiz. Okay, I've already set up the quiz. We've got a code. We will play this game. It's technically asynchronously, right? So if you guys are in education like me, we are far too familiar with the whole thing. Even though we're here together, we're going to start at the same time, but it's really self-paced, right? So technically, if you want to take a little longer, each question will give you 20 seconds to answer it. But don't feel like you have to rush through. Some people will finish before others. That's totally fine. We're all in the same game. I'm going to give you a code, but before I do that, if you're having trouble, please raise your hand or your phone and see if we can get some help. Everybody on this, basically on this site, it's called kahoot.it. You're going to have a code to punch in, a PIN number. I'm going to read it aloud, and then I'm going to show it to you all like this. The code 04384113. Now, some of you will be disappointed about the next part. You cannot put your real name in there. We're going to generate a pretty cool, clever name for you. You have the option to reset that crazy generated name. You get up to 3 choices. But if you like the first one, just go for it. And once you start, you're going to be in this quiz. I felt like I could read these questions aloud, but some of you are already on question number 3. All right, if you're not in the game, if you're not in the quiz, please raise your hand. I want to make sure everybody's in there. Oh, I see a couple over here, a couple over here.
Show us the number again.
Okay. So again, just open up a browser, any kind of web browser that works on your phone. Use this address, kahoot.it, and then punch in this PIN number. I think it's got 7 or 8 digits. I'm going to walk around and see if I could give you guys a little more help. Has anybody gotten to number 5 or beyond already? Yes, some fast people out there. I see 3 or 4 people moving along. You can tell the questions are based on culture, science, things going on around the world, the country. And I know I helped create this quiz. I would not get it perfect, but I wouldn't be surprised if some people here can. If you are finished with your quiz, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very nice. Anybody of those 7 get better than 50%? I'm hoping. Yes. Oh, only one? I think you guys might be in the lead right now. Yes. Which question was the hardest for you guys? Most bizarre? Yes. I I don't want to give the answer away, but yes, I don't even know about that movie, but if you look it up right now, it's #1 in, the country. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I was just thinking that. I was like, that's in translation.
It's one of the most quiet, interactive moments in Cedar Ridge history. But I like the focus, the attention is all happening. I can see it. Has anybody finished with a really good score that they're proud of? Anybody so far? I see one hand, 2. Okay, John, you're finished, right? What was your hardest question? Don't give away any answers. All of them? What? Okay, yeah, again, don't give any answers. The Mexican construction site question. All right, I expect in the next minute or two, anybody who's gonna finish this is gonna be finished. If for some reason you feel really dissatisfied with the performance your first time through the quiz, you feel free to jump back in later with a different code name and all that. But, as of, 4 p.m. today, we're going to recognize who is the actual winner for this game, for this interactive competition, not by their real name, but by their fake, crazy, funny name, okay? All right, let me ask anybody, if you don't mind standing, please don't move and compromise our distancing. Standing up if you got more than 5, you got 5 or more correct answers on the quiz. Please stand up. Seriously, there have to be that. Okay, I think, how many people? Okay, I see 2 people standing based on my request. Let's find out from each one of you, how many points did you end up with? I didn't hear that. 4210. Is that what you said? 4,210? Yes? Nope. Okay, I heard 45. Is that right? So you just outperformed John. And what was your code name? What kind of giraffe? A focused giraffe. That makes sense, right? So if you don't mind, let's give it up for the focused giraffe. Well done. Thank you for your participation.
Okay, again, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being here. We really wanted to make today about all of us. So we're going to have an opportunity in a moment. We've got these 2 mics up here for people to come and share. We'll do it. We've got some wipes here. We'll disinfect the mic after each person comes up. Wanted to hear from you, but we'll do that in a little bit. But just wanted to share a little bit about where we're at and the future, where we're going in these really unusual times. This is, technically this is our relaunch event. We do this every fall, right? It's usually the first Sunday after Labor Day. So, it's a tradition for us, but what we're doing right now isn't exactly traditional, although maybe it's becoming traditional, meeting like this. But I don't know whether you were here, we had a similar gathering like this, it was sort of an unfortunate thing that happened. We had a fire alarm go off in the over in the main building, and we had to evacuate, and we gathered out here. Was anybody here for that? And it was a really precious time. It was actually a very difficult time as well, because it's right after the Charleston shootings, and we had this time of sharing that was kind of off the cuff and just very vulnerable. These kind of moments can be very precious too, even though clearly it's not the same. But we're hoping this will be a memory like that, perhaps, where we've come back together again for the first time since March the 8th. I mean, we had an in-car prayer vigil, but being together in person like this is the first time for over 6 months. So it's a momentous time for us, really. So firstly, I just wanted to thank everybody. You may have seen in the service last week, I just gave a few reflections on the last 6 months that we've not been able to gather. And said then, and want to say again, my prevailing emotion as I look back is gratefulness for this community. It's just been incredible, the response. It's been a really hard time, obviously, for all of us. And it's been hard to be church and do church together. But everybody has responded so positively, so amazingly. And, wanted to thank you for that, for your perseverance and courage, your patience, while we've kind of shifted to online, even though it's, it's not the perfect environment for us to be together. So thank you for that. Thank you too, when we did that survey, we got all kinds of different feedback about comfort levels of being together like this. So we know that for some people, probably we're going a little bit slow in our reopening. For some people, it's a bit too much too soon. So we're wanting to create lots of opportunities for people that feel comfortable. For some, maybe not for others, various ways of doing it so that everybody can make the decisions themselves and continue doing things online so that everybody can access at least something. And so we're going to keep our Sunday services going virtually. More about those in a second. But also thank you for the faithfulness. I mentioned last week, our giving has been pretty close to 100% during this last 6 months, and that's really amazing. I never thought when we closed, not that the first thing I thought about was money. I might say that, but you do wonder, and it's just been amazing. And I think I shared this actually early on in one of the video updates. I think the fact that our community have remained together strongly, and it's not just giving, it's the way people have been looking after one another. We've still been connecting on Zoom, interpersonally and in our groups and on, for our services online. But I think what's held us together is the fact that relationship is a real strength of our community, and in no way wanting to, should we brag about that, but I think it's shown us that we're not just a Sunday gathering, right? And a lot of churches have really struggled because they had so much dependent on the weekly Sunday gathering. And so you take that away, and it's hard to see how you could still be church, and a lot of people have fallen away, a lot of giving has fallen off. And we've just not had that experience, and we're not taking that for granted, let me assure you. But I think it reflects the fact that we are a community, right? And that what the strength we have is one another, and it's the bond we have between one another that keeps us going, even when we aren't able to gather. So again, I just want to really thank you for that. It's been difficult as well, though, and we're very conscious of that. So in our planning, in our putting things together, we're wanting to provide content and opportunities, but also not put more pressure on a community that is already under pressure. So we know, for instance, for families, especially with children, this back to school season has been difficult. There's a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things to juggle. So we don't want to be putting another thing on the plate, but rather being a source of encouragement, a source of support. So anyway, thinking ahead a little bit, planning at the moment obviously is kind of tricky, right? Because things are changing. We're not sure, where are we going to be at 2 months from now, 3 months from now, where will we be at next year? So normally we'd plan ahead for a year, but what we decided to do this time was just plan ahead for 3 months. And what we've done we've got 2 basic objectives, and you can read all about those online. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but you can go to our website, just click on the drop down which has all about our planning on it, and you can read the plan for this year, which goes up until end of November. And we've got two main objectives for this first quarter, and those are to renew and recalibrate our commitment to social justice, and to also renew ourselves spiritually. And if you think about it, those are really based on the same premise. It's the premise that everybody is sacred, that every life counts, that we're all important. And justice is important because everybody counts. When we see somebody who's been treated unjustly, or people who feel alienated, or people who are marginalized in any way, we all feel it. It matters to us all. And so we want to do something about that with our lives, right? And then also we matter, right? Our own lives need nurture, need support. We need to take care of ourselves, and not be embarrassed about that, and recognize that we struggle, recognize that we need that nurture, recognize that we need that renewal. So over these next 3 months, we're trying to provide opportunities where we can do both of those things. So with social justice first, that's always been a priority for us. So we've just got renewed vigor for that, due to what's been going on in our culture. We've been going through this process recently with racial justice, and that's going to begin again towards the end of September. Encourage you to join in with that. That's on via Zoom. Joining in with that, we'll announce the next meeting. It's going to be actually September the 28th. We'll send out an announcement about that. I know many of you have already been engaged. For us, it's all about following Jesus, right? It's not about taking sides politically or being partisan. It's responding to the fact that we're trying to follow Jesus, and doing that to the best of our ability, even when it gets messy. And we're going to continue with that approach, not just around racial injustice, but food justice issues, our farm, our connection to Greencastle School, our connection to Impala in Guatemala. So we're just going to really put an emphasis on that over the next 3 months. And you'll see in our planning and in the announcements we make about events, you'll see that influence. Regarding sort of spiritual renewal, self-renewal, if you like, again, I think we've really got to take that seriously, because these are difficult times. I think we're all experiencing that pressure and strain in different ways. So we're wanting to continue with our Sunday virtual services, but we're wanting to make those a little more real, a little more interactive. And you may have heard the announcement this week that this coming Sunday, so that's tomorrow, right? We're going to be gathering at 10 a.m. via Zoom rather than the usual Vimeo format via the website. So we'll all be together at 10 a.m. So I guess a difference here is we want everybody, as you're able, to log in at 10 a.m. so we can see one another in real time. We'll be able to interact with one another via the chat facility. We're going to develop some other ways of interacting as we go along as well. And again, I think you've seen probably that develop over time, even with the services that we've been doing. For instance, at the end of the service tomorrow, you can stay on after the service and be put into a little breakout group, and so you can have a chat with 3 or 4 other people, have a conversation. So we're just encouraging everybody to come along at 10 a.m. If you have to listen to the message later for whatever reason, work, whatever, we're going to still make that possible. But if you are able to, please join us at 10 a.m. I think we'll have a greater sense of community that way. Encouraging everybody to continue with groups via Zoom or in person as you feel comfortable. We're leaving it up to each group to decide that. Please use this property to come out here, and meeting outside is obviously is safer, so take advantage of it. I mean, I think we're all experiencing just what a gift this property is. I mean, it's just looking out at everybody here. This is just a beautiful thing, and I'm really grateful that we got this kind of farmhouse renovated before all this happened, because it wouldn't quite look so pretty. But so take advantage of that. And if you're not in a group and would like to be, just let us know. Let me, Ruth, or Brian know, and we'll help you get connected to a group. So that, I think those are 2 ongoing ways that we can really look after each other. But then we've got other things too that we're wanting to provide. So twice a month we'll be gathering outside for a time of prayer practice. So sort of to develop certain practices that are going to really help us in the moment when we gathered, but also on our own as we continue to practice. We'll alternate between one that's family friendly, so that'll be a time for parents and children to come together, and we'll do some prayer and then follow with some play for the kids and some discussion for parents about some of the challenges of parenting during a pandemic. And then the alternate one will be more adult friendly. That will be in the evening. The family friendly one will be Saturday mornings at 10. The adult one will be midweek at 7 p.m. All of those obviously, and all our outdoor events are weather dependent. So we're also trying to make use of our indoor space, following all the guidelines. And obviously for smaller groups, we're able to manage that indoors. We're in the process at the moment of working out air purification, filters on our vents, ways of circulating the air. We have a bit of a challenge in the main building because you've probably noticed none of our windows open. So that's just the way the building was built. So we're looking into even, can we make some changes there? But certainly, thinking about air quality. So, as we recognise as we go further into the fall, it's going to get cooler. There might be more rain. So meeting outside isn't a guarantee. So we're going to make sure that we've got all of those kinds of things in hand. We're going to do things like the journey outdoors. Again, may have to shift inside. You'll see announcements about that. That's coming up fairly soon. We've got things like the yoga and meditation. Farm nights will still be happening. We'll announce those. We're harvesting out here still. Well, harvest is coming to an end. There's still a few things to harvest, but there's still work to do on the farm. Thursday nights, if you're able to come out 6 to 8 p.m. Probably earlier than 8 p.m. now because of the sun going down. But come out and you get to interact with people and obviously make a contribution to some really valuable work as well. We've got, so I mentioned the journey. We've got some other outdoor events that probably will be larger, like our movie night. Fall is a time when we've projected movies up on the barn. We're going to do that again. This coming Friday, in fact, will be Black Panther here at 7 p.m. So that's one of those ones. Bring your own chair, bring your own food and drink. If we all do like we're doing now, socially distance safely, and just make sure we follow all the protocols. There's things that we can do that really I think can help us come together. We're going to keep a cap still at 50 until things change on maximum numbers. So all of these events, unfortunately, will require a sign up, and we know that Cedar Ridges love signing up, right? you love that, but that way we can just keep a track of numbers and all that kind of thing. So again, other you'll see other events that are coming up that I think can really help us experience being together. We're going to do all we can to continue to be a community, to do everything we can safely to meet in person as we're able. If you have events that you would like to hold, maybe you want to have a gathering of some kind, you are free to use our property. I mean, it's your property. Just let us know what you'd like to do, and we can get the word out and just give some input on practicalities and safety and that kind of thing. But we're very open to that. So if you've got an idea for a group or an event, please do let us know. We've just bought, or we are in the process of buying an FM transmitter, so that's going to open up the option. We're not quite sure how we're going to do that, but I'll open up the option of doing in-car events. We did one of those for the prayer vigil, obviously, but this will mean we can have our the sound beamed into the car, which will be a little bit better. It means also that depending on whether it's hot, that's probably less likely going forward. But if it's raining or cold, windows can be up. So we're exploring all those options too. Things will change as we go forward inevitably. We're conscious. We've only planned up until really midway or towards the end of November. We're conscious that we have Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, and we really want those to be special, right? We want those are special times for us in our community. But obviously we just don't know where things are going to be then. So we're in the process, or beginning the process now, of planning for the following 3 months, which includes that period of time, Thanksgiving, Advent, and Christmas, and we'll communicate accordingly. So just again, want to thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this last 6 months together. Let's keep moving forward. Let's keep trusting God, trusting one another. Let's remain faithful in every way as we follow Jesus and as we pursue our vision together. I wanted to create some space now for any one of us to share. We've got these 2 mics here at the front that we're going to share from. Ruth's just going to facilitate this time as well. So over to you, Ruth.
So we'd love to hear from absolutely everybody today. So there are two things that we'd love for you to share about. So I'll give you a minute to think about it. One thing that you found challenging or difficult or you've missed over this last 6 months, and then something that has been positive for you, something maybe unexpected. And for people that are following along on Facebook Live, if you want to write it in the chat, then I will read that out. So please also contribute. So the way we'll do this is you can just come up when you thought of your two things. Come up and we'll space out in a line. We can use these two microphones and take turns. And we really love to hear from everybody. So come on, be brave.
Also, we'll just say, don't try not to touch the mic, but we're going to disinfect the mic each time, so it's it's going to be safe.
Ruth, can you say the questions again?
So the questions are something challenging or difficult or not positive about this time, something you missed, and something positive, something that's blessed you or surprised you, something you weren't expecting. So a good and a bad. Okay. So you can yay for Jenny, and for other people you can just line up here, and we'll take it in turns. Great. Go for it.
Hi everybody, it's good to see you all in person. I work in local government for the city of Rockville, so this past 6 months is the first time in my career I've ever had to deal with a pandemic or a situation of this type, so it has been the most challenging part of my career, but everything's going okay. So the great part is that my D group keeps meeting, and we do it on Zoom, and I love it. We connect, we study, we talk about the Sunday service, and I'm very, very thankful that we keep doing that. It's been a bright spot. Thank you.
Hi, I'm John. I've been robbing a lot of banks lately with the face mask. Challenging for me is we didn't hug our grandkids for 3 months. I mean, I have 3 beautiful little grandkids, 5, 3, and 3, and we couldn't hug them. I mean, that was the hardest thing in the world for us. You go over and visit them, and you sit in a chair in your pickup truck and you watch them play. It was really hard, especially those first 3 months when I think there was a lot more uncertainty, there was a lot more fear. It was kind of a crazy time. It's a little better now, but man, it was crazy. The challenging and rewarding is right in the beginning of the pandemic, my wife and I started remodeling a condo in Rehoboth Beach, and it's been nuts. I mean, we're going down there, we're bringing our own food, we're trying to control our environment, we're painting, we're just doing all this work, and it's just been the weirdest 6 months, I think, of my life. And I've missed everybody, and I look forward to when we can get back and visit again in the church. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Paris. So raise your hand if you're a teacher or a parent. Come on, Brett. All right, so what I'm going to say is you're going to connect with instantaneously. I'm a teacher, and I spent from the middle of March until the end of the school year teaching on Zoom. And I got to tell you, that was a real challenge because it was new technology. And I knew it was challenging for our parents because they were there with their children, and that was a big challenge, not being able to see the students on a daily basis in a realistic way for social purposes, because I work with children that social challenges are their biggest issue for the most part. Special needs students, they need a lot of support, and thankfully one of the good things is that we did have Zoom, we did have that ability. But not being able to go to work and not seeing those students in a realistic way was really challenging. Also, whether or not any of us would have a job come next year. That was like the big cloud over our heads. Would we have a job? And thankfully, we're a private school, and we were able to keep going. And we had 3 campuses. My campus alone had like 58 students, and now we're 70 students for 3 campuses. So like, we've downsized, but we're moving forward, and we're positive, and we're flexible, and we try to teach our students. The thing that I'm thrilled about is that I still have a job, and I can still teach students, and more than anything else, that I have like the best wife in the universe. I love spending time with her, and I get to see her every day of every moment. She's upstairs, I'm downstairs, but there we are together. I've spent more time with my wife than any other human being in the world, and I am blessed because I have the best wife in the world, so that's what I'm grateful for. Thank you.
On Sports Talk, they always say they stole my thunder. I tell you, one of the things I really enjoy is the fact that I get to spend 24/7 with my wife as well. We've been able to have an exercise routine every morning. We've been able to just spend time together, so that's been great. The craziest thing is doing between 3 to 8 Zoom interviews every day. I'm a journalist with the Sun, and so to get on there and interview people, and you just sit there and you're looking at someone through a screen, it's not the greatest thing, but you know, it's getting the job done. One other thing I wanted to mention, and this is probably telling how the sausage is made. When I was on the board here at Cedar Ridge, one of the things that on the board we always wanted to do was, if anything ever happened to the church, that we had like 3 months to be able to survive if we couldn't go to church. And all I kept thinking was, when would there ever be a time where we wouldn't be together for 3 months? Now, of course, it's been double that. It's been 6 months, and I just want to commend everybody for the faithful giving to the church, and for us not to miss a beat. It's been great, and it's great seeing you guys. Once again, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. So, another soon. Thank you.
I'm going to share one from Sabrina, who says she only has a positive, not a challenge. Thank you, Sabrina. And she says her positive was working on the farm. Okay, I was a little bit biased in sharing this one, but I absolutely love every minute of working on the farm. Also joining a D group for the first time through Zoom, so 2 positive ones there. Great. We have some more. Come on, it's great to hear from you. I want to just see.
Hi, I'm Kate, for those of you who don't know me. I think the hardest thing for me has been to be a full-time worker and a full-time mommy. And, I think that's always reality, but doing those 2 things simultaneously at home is really intense. And I feel like I have never enough for either one of those things. But one of the biggest blessings, I think, has been midday hugs. So, like, the midday interruptions are crazy, but they're so lovely. I love snuggling with my little girl, and Jeff and I, will be like, bye, give a kiss, like, have a great day, even though he's downstairs and I'm upstairs. And so, again, just that time with family has been really great. And then one of the things that I learned on one of the racial justice group meetings that Rory invited me to, they were saying, what can we do about the election? And I was like, well, maybe I can mail a couple letters to people who might not have voted. I don't know what else I can do. I feel like, I have such limited capacity to help anybody right now, even though that's where my heart is. And somebody on the meeting said, that's how change happens. It's all those little tiny things making a big difference. And so that was really, it really touched my heart, and it's helped me sort of embrace that, like, I feel called to different things, and I can do those in little ways, and they're still making big differences, and they're still big things to God and big things to the people around me. So that was just really inspiring to me.
Hi everyone, I'm Jen. I think, sort of to echo John, what you were saying, one of the hardest things has been having to actually think about decisions like, do I hug my parents or my brother? And the realization of how important social interaction is just on a daily basis. You know, my husband and I like to entertain and have friends or neighbors over for dinner, and I like to give people hugs, and so to sort of drastically have all that removed made a big impact. And there's obviously been other challenges, but I think that's the one that sort of hit me very hard. There's been a lot of positives, surprisingly a large number of positives for us. And so kind of, Kate, what you were saying, balancing being a full-time working mom, having the kids around all the time, feeling like there's no space in the house has been a huge challenge. But it's also meant lunchtime jogs with the family, or we decided to splurge for an above ground pool this summer, and so swimming over the lunch breaks. And there's been a lot of awesome memories that just wouldn't have been possible without this extra time together as a family. So I'm really grateful for that. And for all you teachers out there, people in education, I'm so impressed with how well the school year has gone these first 2 weeks. My youngest son, Christopher, just started kindergarten, and my husband and I were very worried of how he was going to take to kindergarten on a computer for that number of hours per day. But I feel like the teachers have done such a great job of keeping the kids engaged and being creative and innovative. And just in general, people have really pulled together as a community to find ways to keep people engaged and to stay in touch with one another. So I'm grateful for all of that.
You're thinking I'll read some from online. So Anna Kim says hi. She says, while I miss congregational face-to-face worship together, I'm incredibly blessed living nearby Cedar Ridge, just a 10-minute drive, so I could stop by and just enjoy spending time on the church ground. Incredibly beautiful place, and I sense God's presence every time I am there. Andrew House says his positive is working from home 50% of the time has given me an opportunity to share so many precious moments with my children. I think of the moment my 12-year-old and 6-year-old spontaneously danced their way through the kitchen. No reason, just joy. And I would have missed that if I'd been in the office. And Sue Peterson says, my biggest positive has been finding a much healthier work and life balance. The biggest challenge has been the struggle to learn multiple new computer platforms quickly in order to teach effectively from a distance. And we have a challenge from Sabrina, who, again, loves the farm. So if you've not been out, come and love the farm with her. The challenge is not being able to go visit my parents in Montana. My father is in a high-risk group, and the worry about both mom and dad. I think that's I've heard that from a number of people in our community, concerns about parents and other relatives. Is there anyone else who would like to share? It's so nice to hear from you. Yay!
Rachel. I'm a school administrator, so that's been really difficult. I'm in charge of the academic program at my school, and so just a lot of pressure there. And then I made the decision to start a graduate program in January at the same time, so I've just spent a lot of months feeling somewhat overwhelmed. So that's been the hard part, but the great part has been that family time, and to have a college student who came home at spring break and didn't go back, which she hated, but I loved seeing so much of her, just seeing the sisters together. And then Scott got in his head we needed an enormous deck on our house, so we now have this huge deck, and he just keeps adding on to it. And so we're just having a lot of fun, making new memories together. Absolutely just a lot of things that would not have happened had this situation not been here. And I'm grateful for the friends who continue to reach out even though we can't see each other in person. So just, it's amazing when you do sit down and think of the list. The blessings so far really feel like they're outweighing the challenges, and so I'm grateful for that.
One from Hannah. Hannah Gerdonay says, something that has been really challenging for me has been finding alone time in a house with my husband and kids who are there, caps, all the time. I also really miss being in person with the Cedar Ridge community. Virtual church is just not the same. But during this time, I have had an amazing opportunity to reconnect with dear friends from college. We send each other regular video messages and read White Fragility together. The crazy time brought us together. There's actually a copy of that book too in our little library right over there, that blue box, which has other that book and several other racial justice focused books. So please, before you go, if you want, help us out.
Hey, well, we've at our house we've kind of been told a couple folks kind of playing out like the Noah's Ark story. There are 8 of us that are kind of on our property all the time, and during this pandemic, in addition to our cat, we've added a dog and 2 rabbits. And I am trying to stand firm to all of you watching on Facebook, my wife, on no, not another cat. So all of that is saying we've had that's I guess a challenge, like internet capacity is proven to be a little challenge as everybody goes back to school. But we really have had a good time together with our family, and being able in our neighborhood to get outside and walk. Other than that, maybe that little heat wave was a little unpleasant, but the spring was great, and now the weather's getting down, and so enjoying socially distanced walks and being able to get outside has been really cool. So those are among the things we want to continue to enjoy as we carry on.
Thanks, Brian. Before we finish, are there any kids who would like to share? It would be great to hear from kids. Any kids feeling brave? Something that you've liked? Wow, they've gone to sleep. Pretty exciting. Emily. Oh, Stacy, sorry.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see everyone. I think for me, the biggest challenge was having my mom become extremely ill during COVID. Although she was admitted to the hospital and did not have COVID, she was critically ill at times, and the challenge was not being able to go visit her. She lives in New York, and the hospitals weren't allowing any visitors, so it was agonizing every day, just not being able to see her, to visit her, to hold her, to do the things that we want to do if someone we love dearly was away from you. The good part of it is that technology allowed me she did have her cell phone, and when she was physically able to hold it up, I could FaceTime with her. So technology, was a blessing, really, to be able to connect that way. Another wonderful thing about this last 6 months was being able to spend more time at home with loved ones, and we bought bicycles, and we would go bike riding and walking together. So that was great. And I think I also developed a stronger inner spirituality, because you have to do things more by faith, and I'm a physician, and so when COVID first hit, the hospital had us stop seeing all patients. I work in an outpatient setting, and so when they said we are going to start seeing patients again, I was extremely fearful, but I just donned all my PPE and started seeing patients again, and you just have to have faith that you're going to be protected. So it's really been a challenging 6 months, but I'm very happy to be back here. I definitely miss congregating and coming to church every Sunday and seeing everyone. So anyway, that's it.
Oh, we got one brave one. Yay! Come on. Give her a round of applause.
The thing I found that was the most hard about this was that I couldn't see anyone, basically. The very few play dates I had were not as good as, like, school. And then getting used to virtual school was hard. I did like that being at home, whenever I wasn't having to do school, I could just go outside and bounce on my trampoline or whatever. And I did not just have to walk around like a school area. I could just play.
All right, thanks so much, everybody. We're going to sort of wrap things up here. Before we do that, though, I wanted to just say some thank yous, and especially thank you to our staff. And I'm going to just reel off some names, and then you can all applaud at the end of it. But thank you, Ruth, who's just put so much effort into a lot of work behind the scenes, finances, the services, amazingly kept this farm going. And I think we're kind of on course for almost like a regular year, really, aren't we, on the farm? So that's pretty amazing. Brian, working with the children and just putting videos out there and keeping kids connected and parents connected. Also, all kinds of issues to do with rentals. I mentioned last week that our income for rentals is down because of people using the facility less. We've managed to pick up another rental, though. It doesn't quite make up the difference, but that's been amazing. So thank you to Brian. Sarah's been working on so many tech things to put the services out each Sunday and our website and all kinds of other things. Is Mark here? I don't think Mark's here, but keeping our property really beautiful, working under unusual circumstances. And also we've got our bookkeeper. Diane's not here, but Diane, our bookkeeper, who works part-time. We did a lot of work, and Ruth was very involved in that too, on applying for through the CARES Act for some financial help, which we were able to get, right, legally and legitimately. But she's also been very unwell. She had surgery, so she's been away for a little bit, but is recovering, which is great. So let's give the staff a really big round of applause. Thank you so much, guys. And a few of you have asked if, are there any blooper reels from our services, the recorded services? And we might put one out there eventually. I have had some mishaps, I have to say, where, my mum's called me during one of the messages. I forget to turn my sound off and, notifications go off. The worst one was when I did the whole message, went to press stop and realized that I hadn't started recording. And so I pressed record. And so that video was just one word, and it was a really bad word. So I won't be able to share those. I will have to delete all those. But many of you have been involved in putting those together. You've done communion, the welcome, and you know how weird it is to sit in front of a camera and just talk. But thank you for being so willing to help. I think that's been made a big difference on those services, seeing other people's faces and feeling like we're still a community. So thank you so much for doing all that, and we'll be hitting you up for that again in the future. We're going to close out with a song, so if the band wanted to come up, that would be great. But so if you guys come up, before they sing to us, we're going to just say a prayer together. I would normally say the words will be projected on the screen, but obviously that's not going to happen. So I've got a prayer, and it's a responsive prayer, but the response is the same each time. So we're going to say as a response, this is what we're saying to God: you are with us, and together we are a family. Okay, so let's just practice that. You are with us, and together we are a family. So I'm just going to read a line, and then after each line, we'll say that. You are with us, and together we are a family. Let's just hold a few moments of silence, though, before we pray, just to be grateful ourselves for this time together, for one another, for our lives, and for the future that we have. Let's take a moment of silence. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for this beautiful day and our beautiful property. You are with us, and together we are a family. Thank you for your love that sustains us and flows between us. You are with us, and together we are a family. Help us to have compassion and take care of ourselves. You are with us, and together we are a family. May your love empower us to serve others and bring justice. You are with us, and together we are a family. May we be agents of love, peace, and hope in our world. You are with us, and together we are a family. Amen. Okay, thanks so much to the band. Thank you again for coming. Please feel free to stay for a little bit if you'd like to. I'd recommend let's just put our masks back on, interact safely. We would just ask that you could start making your way home, maybe like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes or so, because we'll have more people coming on for the next service, so we just need to keep the numbers down. But thank you again for coming, and drive safely. Thank you.
Well, they didn't. They ended up not going to reschedule. They rescheduled against another team. So they rescheduled for another team. And so it's not warm. It's humid. But now the breeze is not the most. Very pleasant. All right. Thanks so much for sure.
See you home, buddy.